Welcome to the house next door
with Barbara Gillio,
and Anthony Harris,
where real estate meets reality.
Welcome back to the house next door,
where real estate meets reality. I'm Barbara Gillio.
And I'm Anthony Harris.
And this is Season 2, Episode 4.
Woo!
Yay!
We're making it.
We're making it. We're trudging along. And we're back at the farmhouse in the in person. We've done a couple of virtuals just to kind of play around with, I don't know, just mixing it up, and definitely like being in person.
We like
better.
The farmhouse.
Yeah, I like being in the farmhouse.
And I get to see the boys.
The newfies are out laying around somewhere outside. Hopefully they don't start barking. And I put pigtails.
You make it seem such like a studio, the farmhouse, and then you talk about the dogs.
I know. And I talk about the dogs. And Rumi has pigtails today in his hair just for Anthony. I did his hair for Anthony.
Oh,
so cute.
He came and greeted me with his little pigtails.
Right. I was telling Anthony this morning when I'm moving the sprinkler around the yard, because I live in the country and I do not have a sprinkler system for the first time in a long time in my life. And I'm kind of glad I don't, because I got a quote for it. It was not cheap because I got a lot of acreage. And I wasn't doing like the whole property, but it was doing I guess because the property's so big, just a little bit doesn't look like it's a lot, but it really is a lot. I'm glad I didn't do it though, because of all the freaking gophers. They would have
destroyed it.
They would have destroyed it. And
tell about your gopher story from this morning.
So every day I have a gopher story. And so I was going to take care of the bird buddy, because I live on an animal sanctuary. And well, not an animal sanctuary, a wildlife refuge sanctuary.
Well, and a bird buddy is a bird feeder that has a camera in it.
Right. And it will identify the different species. And so when you live in a wildlife sanctuary, you can get a really amazing tax exemption. And it's almost like an ag exemption. And so you have to file a report every year by April 30th. And you have to say what birds you're taking care of, what bird houses you have. I got a bat house because I'm going to start making habitats for bats, because they're really good for pest control and also for rabies and biting, large dogs like Cucho situation. No, I'm just kidding.
How about gophers?
That was my drama thing. But so I'm going and putting stuff back in the bird buddy, because we have a squirrel who terrorizes the bird buddy. And as I was standing there, I saw a little gopher, and he came up with his little gopher feet, and he's kicking the dirt out. And I totally saw him, and I was like, oh my God, there he is. I could just grab his little neck. And instead, I took the bag of bird seed, and I bonked him on his feet.
It's like whack-a-mole.
It was like, I just bonked him on and I yelled at him, like, go, just get out. And I bonked his feet. And I'm like,
do you think that helped?
No, this is why they all live in my yard, because my neighbors are, they're taking care of them, right? They're trapping them and killing them. They're shooting them. They might be blowing them up. They're using some lethal poison, and my dumbass is just hitting them over the head with a bag of bird seed and scalding them. So yeah, they live in my yard.
That works.
So they live in my yard.
So next week they won't be here.
Oh yeah, that guy really scared them.
He's probably going to think it's a challenge and do it every day.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that lady's crazy. Let's all live in her yard. She doesn't kill us. She just yells at us.
And hits us with bird seed.
Right. So stupid. I have a problem. But I don't want, I want to kill them, but then I don't want to kill them because they're
a nuisance.
Well, I want to kill them because they're a nuisance. They make my yard look horrible, right? And I did kill them when I did the gas.
People can see your yard.
I know, no one can see my yard. But I did kill them with the gas when I had the guy out, and he put the hose down, and it carbon monoxides and knocks them out, and they're dead in the little hole. But then new gophers come over and just take over the holes. They just walk over the dead carcass of their friends and take over the hole. It's awful.
Thanks for painting that picture for us. We really appreciate it.
These gophers are brutal, right? And so I did that.
They're just trying to get the coin.
They are. It didn't feel like I was killing them. They were just going to sleep. And then when I see them, I'm like,
is it like that dog that when you were a kid, the dog that went out to the ranch?
Yes, I never did that, but somebody else in my family might have done it, not mentioning names. And but yeah, they're kind of cute.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a gopher.
They're kind of they're kind of ugly and cute at the same time. So I have a problem.
I think bats are ugly. They scare me.
They can't. Well, I got my bat house. Wait
I
till
know.
we could sit on the
Nope.
front
Nope.
porch and watch the
Nope.
bats fly into our neck.
That's a negative.
Okay, I guess we should get on topic today, right?
We're never on topic.
No, okay. Well, today
We have an exciting topic. I don't know if it's that exciting, but
Well-
it's something we have to talk about.
it's important. We need to address what's going on in the world and how is that affecting real estate. And originally we were going to have a guest speaker and do all of that, but we really need to put a pause on that and just talk about this war that's happening and what does that mean for real estate, because it's pretty poignant to people are
And what does it mean for
concerned.
for the just even outside of real estate, the economy, and
Right.
it all goes hand in hand.
It all goes hand in hand.
And we're not economists.
No. So we're going to focus the best we can on the real estate portion, but it feels like a confusing, weird market.
Mhm.
And that is a fair way to feel. It definitely feels that way.
Yeah.
And-
And I feel like we've been in a weird market since COVID, and we're on a roller coaster. We're just going through it. I felt like the last couple months we were getting better, after a year and a half of stable rates dropping a little bit, not
Yeah.
crazy. We got under 6%. We were
Oh, that
doing
was so
great.
fabulous. Yeah.
Um,
And then this
And then-
war started and interest rates are back up because inflation is back up because oil prices are going up. And so when inflation goes up, this puts pressure on rates. And now we're back up in the sixes.
Mhm.
And so we may or may not see a pause from that. It does definitely make it a trickier market again. Just because it's a little bit tricky and confusing, it is a great opportunity for both buyers and sellers if you kind of know how to strategize correctly, right? If you think through this smart, this could be a really amazing market for both buyers and sellers.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
It's if sellers have a great realtor on their end, then they've warned them about the uncertainty, and there's buyers out there looking, but you need to be priced correctly. We were talking earlier, and what was the saying that you said about chasing the market?
Oh, right. It's like the 3 points that are really key right now for buyers. There's more opportunity to negotiate, right? And it is depending upon the
Seller.
well, not the seller, but just the market. There are some markets where multiple offers, and we talk about this, are always happening. And there are some pockets right now where multiple offers are happening because the rates were a little bit lower. So, but overall, it is still a really good time to negotiate. Inventory is tight, but there's definitely more inventory than we've had in the past. And then also, it's a time where there's less competition per se, and sellers are willing to do some concessions. Very smart key buyer elements going on right now. But for sellers, getting back to that tagline, buyers are price sensitive in the terms of payment sensitive. And then they're taking a little bit more time to look at these houses and think about what their payment's going to be and kind of trying to do these concessions. So for sellers, got to understand that it's not about, yes, you want the top dollar, you want all this stuff, but you got to remember these buyers are looking at higher rates and they're very payment sensitive. And so if you price super high, it's not a market to be pricing high to negotiate down. And hasn't been a market like that for years. And I kind of hammer this home, but it is not a time to do that saying, oh, let's start at, $750, but we'll really only take, we'll take something up to, $720 or something like that. Forget about it. Since these buyers are price payment sensitive, they're not even going to look at your listing. So if you price high or you name your price thinking you can negotiate down, that's not this market.
Yeah.
It's going to be price it high and chase the market down and leave money on the table. That's this kind of market. So if you don't price right, your next option is you're just chasing the market for the rest of the time.
And you're going to be on the market for 200 days.
And you're going to leave way more money on the table than if you had started at the correct price.
And I have an example of that. I took one in San Antonio, been on the market forever. I told her from the get-go we need to be at 285. 5 was the magic number at 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, today. 385 or 285. Well, I finally got her down. He expired. I got her down. We went back on market. We had 3 showings in 3 days
Yeah.
because we were priced correctly.
Price correct. What that tells you is sellers, there are buyers out there, but you have to be in that range where they will look. You have to think about, would you pay $8,000 a month on your home with the interest rate? So like if you're looking at a house that's, say, I don't know, 950,000 or something, and I'm just going to do what we call realtor math, which is completely wrong math, but it'll get you in the range, and you're paying, 6.5%, you put 30% down or 20% down, your payment is still.
Yeah.
And you think about who can afford that monthly payment, your house better be pretty darn perfect. Otherwise, there's other options in terms of new construction where they can buy the rate down, they can have a brand new shiny home. You need to be really turnkey and pretty amazing to command some of these higher monthly payments from buyers.
And I think you still can get a high dollar, but it has to be a unique house. It has to be that unicorn, like the one that I just got under, or we're about to close on. But we were the highest priced in the neighborhood.
And you set a new comp for the neighborhood.
And it's a lot of hard work that went into that to set that work, from doing appraisal packages and really knowing the product when we positioned it. But we had multiple offers on it.
You did.
And that shows that the market reacted to that really well.
The market reacted to that home, how it was set up, even the higher price. It didn't scare people off because it was such a unique opportunity. And so when you do get these unique opportunities in homes, you still don't have the ability to outprice them. But if you can
maximize the price.
You can maximize the price.
As long as you can show the value.
If somehow you can show the value, exactly. And that, you're in a range where people are going to respond. Yep. Sellers have to be strategic. We've got to make sure we've got staging going on, understand there are buyers there. There are great opportunities. The market isn't crashing. It's been correcting. It's, there's still low inventory and people have really great interest rates. They're locked in. We're trying to correct still. For sellers, you just have to somehow take that mindset from 2020 where you could name your price and they could get anything you want. And yes, I know your home was worth $1 million in 2021, but it's not today. That's the reality. It's like the stock market. 1 minute your stock's worth something and then the next minute it's not worth something. And it's ever changing. And so for real estate is not quite as crazy as the stock market.
Well, these days.
But it feels like it sometimes, right? Yeah. It does.
Just a month ago, I felt like it was a very different market than what it is today. And that was pre-war. Oh, the interest rates were under 6%. People felt comfortable.
Yeah.
They felt like they knew what was happening. And then we went to war and the uncertainty kicked in and the banks freak out. The stock market freaks out. The oil prices freak out.
Everybody freaks out.
And the Fed just said that they're keeping the rates the same for a federal rate, but I know that on the retail side of it, the banks, they're raising the interest rates in anticipation of the Fed raising because of inflation. And it sucks for that buyer, but knowing how to navigate that is the challenge. And that's why when we come in, we know the market, we know how it's reacting day to day. And, we work at a decent cyber brokerage where we get to hear every week how everybody's business is doing and kind of gauge the Austin market.
Right.
And we do a wide range, too, from Houston, San Antonio, Austin.
Funny you mentioned the part about rates, right, being higher. And a couple of years ago, when the rates really went up, the buzz line for every realtor was, and also lenders, you marry date the rate and marry the house, right?
Blah, 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 blah.
And like, it got to a point where if anybody said that, you just were like, okay.
You rolled your eyes.
Yeah, I'm over it. But there's actually a lot of truth to that. I mean, there is, because
you always can refinance as long as you can afford it.
As long as you can afford it in the moment.
Don't get in a house that you can't
you can only afford for a year. And if those rates don't change, you're in trouble. But you can negotiate. This is why it's such a great opportunity for buyers. And, you can negotiate that price of that home and the concessions. And there's some really good opportunities out there in terms of inventory. You can always readjust that rate. And so really smart buyers right now are getting that price down, because as soon as those rates come down, this is what changes. We start that prices go up, demand goes up. All of a sudden, we're back into that chaos of multiple offers. So, in some ways, it's you end up doing better now than you do when the rates are lower and you're in that multiple offer competitive market
Yeah.
once again.
Yeah.
So it's a really smart time to buy and also sell
Hmm.
because and here's the other thing with that is if you're on the sidelines just waiting for these rates to go down, like we said, that is one of the biggest mistakes
Hmm.
buyers are making right now, and even sellers. It's just to sit there and say, well, we're going to wait for that rate to come down and then we'll get into this. No, you're just leaving money, like you're leaving opportunity and money on the table when you do that. And that's the number one biggest mistake. If you want to buy a home, take advantage of this opportunity to negotiate, have some
Hmm.
options. If you're waiting for that rate, you may be waiting for a year
Yeah.
or two,
Or,
and then
well, they've been
prices.
waiting for 3.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. You've been waiting for
and how's
3.
that going?
And exactly. And you're meantime, maybe you're renting, or maybe you're in a situation you don't want to be in a
Hmm.
certain home, in a neighborhood, and all these good things. But you kind of have to seize the opportunity where it is and then renegotiate that, or not renegotiate, but refinance
Yeah.
that rate. Otherwise,
And
some of these good opportunities are going to be gone.
there's even some lenders I've heard that will give free
Yeah.
refinancing.
Yeah, absolutely. Or at least discounted,
Yeah.
some of it discounted because there's some closing costs associated with
And
refinancing.
an example of that is my brother. He bought his house maybe a year ago, and his interest rate was higher, and they're looking at refinancing it now, and that's just within the year. And
Yeah.
not a lot's changed, but enough has changed with interest rates to
Right.
bring down the payment.
Yeah, absolutely. That is one of the number one biggest mistakes buyers are making, is just thinking, oh, they're going to go back down to 4 and 3%. Well, I'll never say never because COVID, trained us of that. But it's highly not likely
Yeah.
that the Fed is ever going to be that dovish.
We are getting a new Fed,
Yes, I know. But
but I think he is conservative.
I don't think he's going to be. Yeah, exactly.
I think
Well,
interest rates are going to drop, but not crazy, just
they're
little
my
quarter of a
lender.
point.
My lender has been saying they're not going to go below 5.7, and this was before
The craziness.
the war, right? And so now that we have the war going, they could go all the way back up to 7%.
Yep.
And then people go, oh, you should hold the brakes on that. No, if you're buying, take advantage of that.
Mhm.
This is where we can negotiate that price. And then when things get a little bit more stable, refinance that rate.
And builders, they have, like right now, D.R. Horton has 3.99 for 30 years. So 4%, And I have a client right now where his payment is $200 less than his rent. So, it makes sense for him to buy, and he's taking advantage of it.
Absolutely.
We got them to pay all of closing costs. We got them to buy down the rate. We got,
There's some real wonderful, I keep saying it, I feel like it should be a drinking game. Every time I say this is a wonderful opportunity, take a drink.
And sign right here.
Sign right now. But if you're when you're looking at these opportunities in real estate, it's kind of similar to the stock market in this, where there's never this perfect moment, right? And if there is, it's way too competitive. It's always in hindsight that we go, oh man, I should have bought then. And that's how the perfect moment's always a little uncomfortable.
Even when I bought my house, I was the same. But something else is the real estate market is the first to fill it and the last to recover. So, that's why hindsight, because by the time we figure it out, it's already done.
We've already passed that point. Yeah.
And so, because we're the very first industry to hit it, we're very reliant on interest rates, on the stock market, certainty in the market. People always need to buy and sell.
They do. They always need to buy and sell. And so, this market, this world looks really kind of chaotic and crazy and scary. And that is absolutely a fair and true statement. But the but is there's some amazing opportunity in this chaos for real estate moves.
And to go back on your point about the hindsight is in 2008, 2009, that's when investors made a ton of money.
Right.
And when you were in that market, nobody wanted to buy because it was a very scary time in the real estate market. They hit it real hard. And investors knew that. They went in and bought up these foreclosures for pennies on the dollar, and then 10 years later sold them at a 3 times profit.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
there was so much money to be made in that market. And typically with down markets, that's
That's where opportunity is. That's where
Mhm.
you can make money, but
when nobody else is buying.
it feels uncomfortable. It feels
Yep.
sticky. It feels scary.
And something that I tell my clients too is if you can afford it now, just statistically, your real estate will go up. I think it was 4% a year.
Like your normal appreciation.
Yeah.
So normal appreciation, which we haven't seen in a long time, but normal appreciation in this particular Central Texas area, it was general because there are pockets that have different
Oh, yeah.
levels, but it's about 3 to 8%
Yeah.
year over year.
So, in 3-4 years, you'll be fine. And statistically, we can't predict anything. But
Right. But during COVID, that's where we saw 36%,
yeah.
which
overnight. And that's why we're in this position.
That's why we're in this messy position. And then we have a lot of other reasons why we're in this messy position when there's, economic uncertainty and there's war looming and, well, there's war happening, but how impactful, how much worse could it get? Right.
And then in our market, there's been the jobs have also gone up and down.
It's a
I
tough
just saw
market. It's a tough market for jobs right now.
I saw that Elon is bringing a $4 billion chip manufacturer to Austin. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah. So it's AI chip and it's supposed to be
Is
revolutionary.
it Austin or is it Bastrop?
It's, I think, Austin. He
Really?
did the press conference at Solom, the power plant, the old
Okay.
power plant. I don't know. I think it's Austin, though. He's bringing a lot of money into this new, apparently it's revolutionary chips that are going to outperform any other chip that's on the market.
And when you say chip, you mean like a poker chip?
I think it's like a computer chip.
Is it a semiconductor?
It's for AI.
chip?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, is it AI?
Yeah, it's AI semiconductor, I think.
Okay.
It's something that's not, from my understanding, it seems like it's something that's not been made yet. So it's
Interesting.
revolutionary and it's going to enhance AI.
Well,
So-
so there's
We'll see. I don't know.
there's constantly opportunities in the chaos.
And also back to the job market, during hard times are when startups do really well.
Yeah.
It's when they get started because people are forced to focus, if they get laid off, can't get another job, they're
Yeah.
forced to make their own job. You see a lot of economic growth in that time with sole proprietorships and the small businesses.
I mean, and sometimes it's like you're running towards the fire. The people who are running towards the fire are the ones that, really can benefit and grow major wealth
Mhm.
during these hard times. And by running towards the fire, please
We love
do
fire.
not, do not mean run into a burning house. It is a metaphor.
We get sued.
Using a
The
metaphor.
House Next Door LLC podcast gets sued. No.
That's if we were an LLC. We're not that. We don't have our crap.
But we do have an episode every Wednesday.
We do have an episode come hell or high water. We've got an episode
We might
every
be posting
Wednesday.
it at Wednesday at 11 a.m., but it's there.
But in summary of this episode, which we really felt like it was important to talk about just what is happening, address the elephant in the room and say that the sky is not falling in terms of real estate. It might be falling in terms of other things, but it's not falling in terms of real estate. There are some great opportunities. Don't be afraid of rates getting a little bit higher. That can always be readjusted as long as you can afford your payment now. And for smart sellers and smart buyers, there's no reason to sit back and wait, because as you sit there and wait, that's when you end up paying more.
And one other random tidbit is we have midterms.
I love a random tidbit.
We have midterm elections coming
Yep.
up, and it seems like during election times it gets better a little bit. No
does.
matter what side's
Right.
in it, it always does because they won't vote. So
Yeah. Well, let's hope.
let's-
The real estate market has been through quite a bit,
Yep.
and but we keep surviving. We keep pivoting. I mean, like Anthony, you said, we need shelter, right?
Yep.
People are, their families are growing, families are downsizing, divorces are happening, all of the above. And so, no matter what is happening in the world, what the rates are, people will always need a place to live. And most buyers are sellers.
Yep.
So, or sellers are buyers. Get that right.
Both.
Both, exactly.
Well, I think that sums
That's
it all up.
So, thanks for joining us for this episode. It's House Next Door.
And we'll see you next Wednesday.
We'll see you next Wednesday.
Have a great week. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yes, so please like,
Comment.
subscribe, comment,
Share.
follow.
Whatever it might be.
Until next time.